But give me some practical advice for people at home that probably don't know anything about their skin, that are washing with a bar of soap. Give some people some practical advice to, if you're washing with or if not washing at all,
Okay.
what do you tell them?
Now, I'm going to tell you some things that I find. Number one,
Welcome to the Know Me Network, where we interview business owners, entrepreneurs, and industry experts on a little bit more personal level. And today, I'm excited to introduce Beverly Blair with Advanced Aesthetics of Richardson. She's the owner, operator of Dallas's #1 skincare clinic, as you can see there. So, Beverly, with that introduction, welcome to the show and introduce yourself.
hi guys. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. My name's Beverly Blair. As Chris said, I'm here in Richardson. I do skincare. I am a acne specialist and also oncology certified esthetician. I'm one of the only oncology certified estheticians in the area. I think the next closest one is maybe Fort Worth. So I do service those who have cancer or previously had cancer, going through chemo, radiation, and other health challenges that affect the skin. And also, of course, my acne business, which is about 95% of my clientele.
Yeah, interesting. How does one decide to become a licensed, make sure I get this right, certified oncology esthetician, right? That's a big word.
It's just basically, you go and get the training and pass the tests for certifications. And it's just a personal desire. It was that I wanted to fulfill. Because those who are suffering with cancer and other health ailments, when we're in school, we're told that they are contraindicated. Contraindicated means basically, for whatever reason, they're not able to receive services from us. And that's due to the chemicals in the products and some of the methods of technology that we use that are going to be a little bit aggressive with the sensitized skin of those who are undergoing health challenges at the time. So it requires special training so you will know exactly what that client can and what those limitations are, and have a broader scope of what's going to be safe for them and what's going to be the best route of treatment during their skincare.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Sounds like a lot of studying there. I think what I heard you say was basically these medications that these cancer patients are being given can really irritate, if you will, their skin. And not only that, but they have other maybe skin issues that it makes maybe even worse. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. Okay. So radiation can burn the skin. So you deal with clients who have burns from the skin. When different types of cancers, you have cytokines that are released in the body. I had a client that had lymphoma, and she had scratched her back. Actually, she's the one that you see here.
Oh, wow.
So she had these. She was diagnosed in May of 2019 with lymphoma. And so basically she started undergoing treatment at that same time. And she also started to come to me weekly for skincare. And I was able to correct her skin in about 3 months to what you see here on this side. And this is also on my website,
Sure.
Instagram, and you can see more pictures of befores and afters of some of the things that I do in the spa. You have other health challenges, such as I have a client with lupus, and they sometimes it's basically like flesh eating. You have, and it can one of the symptoms is sores and lesions on the flesh, and so yeah, and it's very hard. It's very hard to deal with. They're dealing with the emotional side of the illness, but then they're dealing with the physical side of the illness too. So you need a therapist that's going to be able to kind of cater to both sides when they do come in for treatment. A lot of it is really being there emotionally, where we can't do a lot in treatment. I'm not going to do one of my aggressive microneedling sessions or one of my aggressive chemical peels on someone who's undergoing these treatments. But what I can do is I can give them a loving touch. I can be a listening ear. I can pamper them during their time hydrate, moisturize their skin, and just make them feel better. It's a lot about making them feel better during their time when they can't go get facials anywhere else. No one else is going to be allowed to touch them. A lot of the big brands are going to say when they see on that intake, what health issues are you currently having or undergoing. As soon as they see cancer, chemo, radiation, they're going to immediately tell their client, I'm sorry, we're not able to treat, but here I will treat you.
Wow, that is incredible. So if you're a cancer patient out there and you hear this, in Dallas, you need to come here because you can't go anywhere else. So
yeah,
that's fascinating. You brought up the whole human touch side of it, and just kind of diving back a little bit of your history. It looks like you're from Dallas and maybe ended up at UTD with some kind of counseling minor or something. Is that accurate?
I did. I went to I'm originally from Dallas, North Dallas, and graduated from Richardson High School and went on to Richland College, and did the 2-year degree. I did go to UTD and I graduated cum laude, with a major in interdisciplinary studies, and I was a business management, social sciences, and counseling major.
Yeah, so kind of gives you some of the insight into this human touch, which may have, in essence, really kind of helped lead you to where you are today. So
a lot. It definitely helps with learning a lot about behaviors, human behaviors, and how to change energy, to help and encourage those that may not be in a good space, to bring them to that space. And I do also have a spiritual side. And if I see that my client is also a spiritual person, then I can also help them. We can talk and more on a spiritual level as well. So it's all about kind of catering to that client and exactly what that client needs at that time.
yeah, I can't imagine now, just cancer and then the medication and just needing to feel loved. Do you have cancer in your family history that's drove you to kind of that particular space?
What's funny that you asked that. My mother actually was diagnosed with cancer after I became certified. So it definitely is personal for me, and all of us has been touched by cancer in some shape, form, or fashion. So on my mom's side, we've had quite a few. My grandmother, my grandfather, they both died from cancer. So my mother's parents. So it runs a lot on my mother's side. So, and I think that we all can say we've all personally been touched by cancer in one way or another.
Sure. So you're native here to Dallas. Talk about what it was like growing up here in Richardson proper as before the city was a city, if you will.
Richardson, I actually grew up in North Dallas in a small community called Hamilton Park. So I grew up in small town. It's a small town in the big city where we didn't lock our doors. Everybody walked to school. You knew, every generation knew the next generation. No one, if you were playing with a kid, then your parents knew their parents because they went to school with their parents. It's a very tight-knit community. So that's how I was raised, in a very small community. It's very tight-knit, very old school traditional type communities that we don't really see anymore because our kids aren't outside playing, they're inside. But I'm from that generation that was outside playing on the park.
That's right. So you left UTD with not only left the UTD, but just real quick, you graduated Valedictorian of Esthetics from the beauty school. You're a PBA Beacon Award in aesthetics. I mean, you're a really smart person. I find your background to be fascinating. You're even a notary republic. So walk me through
the notary republic was basically from the legal, because I worked in law for over 10 years.
Right. And so I'm kind of curious, if once you left UTD, what happened next?
Well, I started working in law when I was 16 or 17. And I was a legal secretary for an attorney. He's a 33rd degree Mason, great guy, Zola Blicker. And he taught me a lot, and he did not want to hire me at 16. He had only hired experienced legal professionals in his law firm. And he tried to conclude the interview 3 times And I continued talking, and I talked myself into that position. And
Wow.
he told me, he says, I'm going to hire you. He says, I'm going to train you. He says, and you're going to be a legal secretary. He goes, you're a legal secretary. He says, you can, you know, the other secretaries, you're upper echelon now. So I was like, whatever. I just wanted the job. So I got the job and got into law, and it was very, very intriguing for me. My mom used to call me a career student. So being in an industry where you can continue to learn is fascinating to me, because I really want to continue growing. As I said, if you stop growing, what's left. So to be able to do something that I love, I really loved working in law. So once I finished school, so I worked in law all the way through finished through high school, and through college. I worked for law firms. I've worked at some of the largest firms in Dallas, Haynes and Boone and Jenkins and Gilchrist. And some of these aren't even partners anymore. Some of them are, have gone on. That's been many moons ago. But I worked in word processing, and then I eventually continued my paralegal studies at El Centro and took the NALA exam and passed the NALA, and became a certified paralegal, and continued doing paralegal work until I decided to open my tow company.
So what'd you learn from that business that you can look back on and say, hey man, that guy hired me, gave me a chance. What'd you learn from that paralegal business?
I learned so much. I learned business structure, corporate structure. I learned about, he was a family law attorney. I eventually went on to more corporate law, working with big business, so investigating claims. And when I went on to other businesses, I've been able to handle everything, all of my contracts, contract writing, setting up corporations, working with the Secretary of State and setting up all of the foundations of my companies. I've not had to outsource that because I had the internal training through my paralegal. So it's been very easy for me to set businesses up and set up the foundation of businesses. But with the business management, that also from school, that helped with the marketing. So I've always handled the marketing of the businesses. So it's kind of like everything, at some point, everything became full circle for me, with the training from school, the training on job training with the legal industry, just being able to be a better business professional in the different industries that I've chosen.
So you were in the legal world for
about 10 years.
10 years.
Over 10 years.
And then I find a fascinating transition from, hey, I'm in the legal world to, I'm still kind of maybe in the legal world, but I'm opening a tow business.
Yes.
How did that happen? Where were you? Who was helping you with this? How did it come about?
Okay, so basically, this is the story that I've told many times when people say, why did you decide to start a tow company? So I was a smart aleck as a young girl, and I told my dad, I said, well, I was 13 when I told him this. I said, Dad, when I turn 16, I would like for you to not buy me a car. He's like, okay, I won't buy you a car. I'm like, yeah, I want you to buy me a tow truck. It's like, a tow truck? I was like, yeah, I could drive it during the day, and then I'll pay somebody to tow cars for me at night, and I can make money. And so they laughed it off. So it from that point, it became one of those bucket list things that was always in the back of my mind. And it stayed in the back of my mind. It was kind of dormant for several years as I pursued legal. But what happened with that is, once I had my son in 2006. But I was still that paralegal. I was that go-to girl that, back then we had fax machines. So when the motion hit the fax machine at 5 p.m., I'm the one that, we got to stay. We got to get this order together. We've got to file a counter. I'm the one that would stay till 2 a.m. and come back at 8 in the morning. So once I had a child, I didn't want to do that anymore. And I had gotten accustomed to a certain lifestyle, as we say.
Yeah.
But that was based on billable hours. And, for billable hours, you got to be there to bill them. And I didn't want to be there anymore. I wanted to be home with my son. So we were coming out of a recession.
Family changed everything for you then.
Oh, family changes everything, for sure. We were coming out of that recession in 2009. And at that point, I had a buddy who was needing a job, and I told him, I said, well, you know what? I'll get you a job. Just let me get this truck going. And I really didn't know anything. I'd never worked for a tow company, still never have. I went to a tow convention that they were having in Oklahoma. I took him with me. I had him take the training. He never towed a car in his life. He learned how to tow during the convention, that training, and I met someone to finance my trucks, and I just went on from there. I did like old school. I like really did a whole business plan, and I walked around with my business plan like, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to go get the money. I'd already had all my ideas of who I'd contract with and what I'd do and where my area would be. And of course, throughout time, that business model changed, but it definitely worked for me.
You know, I would almost say that business planning detail stuff comes a lot from that legal background.
Definitely, because we pin everything, and all of the schooling, like outlines. Everything's all about outlines, right? So I'm just so accustomed to putting everything down, gathering all my ideas, and definitely the legal help. So I had the tow company for over 10 years, about 10 years as well. Named it after my son. He was TW Towing. His name is Travis Wade. So we had TW Towing. Did that for 10 years. And,
so
and
10 years worth of operating a business, there's a lot of business acumen that's learned over 10 years.
mm-hmm.
You know, you're starting out with one car, one employee. I can imagine your business has grown over the course of the last year, or not last year, last decade. But, you know, what are some takeaways from, oh my goodness, I had no idea, but I'm glad I was able to do this, you know, from being the president of a towing company?
Well, I did grow fast. I went from one truck, one driver to 10 trucks, about 25 employees, a full staff, and even a wrecking yard where I was impounding vehicles. One thing I did learn with the towing company, a couple things I learned that have definitely helped me going into the industry that I'm in now. One was to grow slowly, because business can come, and it can come fast and hard, but more doesn't always mean better. Okay, so pace yourself, learn all of the ins and outs, make your mistakes while you're small, so that when you grow bigger, you have a better SOP. You know, you've got your SOP down and you know exactly what to do. Another thing is overhead. Keep your overhead low. When I went into this industry, I definitely went in with more oversight as far as to what I was going to spend and how I was going to maintain a low overhead so that my profitability would be higher with a lower overhead. That was definitely something in hindsight that I wish that I had a better knowledge of. But things changed so rapidly throughout, because in 2008 is when Obama instituted the emissions program, the green, and and all of the vehicles, the big trucks turned to BPFs, and that was just a whole like thing to deal with. So there were a lot of unexpected things that happened, and politics definitely change all of our businesses depending on what's going on with politics. There's a lot of implications that come that we have to kind of learn how to roll with when it comes to that. But yeah, keep it low and go slow.
Hey, that's a good one. That's a good one. So I think that's great for anyone out there trying to start a business, for them to hear.
Yeah.
So we're transitioning here. Let's go from we've got a 10-year business, and now how many years are you into the advanced aesthetics?
Yes, I'm 4 years in. I actually towards the end, before I closed the tow company down, I was very stressed. Like I said, it grew very fast and it was overwhelming at that point. Then I had 2 children, and it was very overwhelming keeping up with the kids, the trucks, and a 24-hour business staff, and all of the things that can go right and all the things that can go wrong on a 24-hour basis. And I was ready to get out. But one of the things that was also on my bucket list was to open a spa, because it was my favorite place to be. It's always been my favorite place to be. Every birthday, any time that I was wanting to treat myself, that was the best way that you could treat me, is give me a spa day. So what better way to spend the rest of your days than listening to harps and piano play? rustling leaves, when you've been listening to angry customers, where's my tow truck for 10 years, and drivers calling, I had a blowout. Hey, harps and whistling trees are like my nirvana.
Yeah.
Yes.
No
That's
kidding.
the
No
place I
kidding.
want to be. So that was what I wanted to do. So I still had the tow company, and I ran it while I went back to school again to Ogle to learn my new career of aesthetics. So went, and like you said, I graduated valedictorian of Ogle here in Dallas. And before I graduated, I had already signed a lease at the property where I am now. Because my background in setting up businesses, that was my thing. I'm very apt at setting up businesses and getting the foundation together. So that was just learning the skill set was the only thing for me.
Gotcha. So I love your story of kind of recreating, if you will, like you've recreated a few times.
Yes.
What would you tell somebody out there who may be scared to recreate?
That there'll never be a perfect moment. There's never that time where it's like, oh, now, there's never a perfect moment. You just have to do it. Do your research, step by start, and give yourself lists. Once you have an end goal, break it down into smaller goals and accomplish smaller goals, and eventually you'll get there.
Yeah, I love the entrepreneur spirit there. So does your, you mentioned a second child. What's the second child's name?
Her name is Denver.
Oh, I was figuring,
Denver's Daily Rituals.
Okay, I was wondering when this baby was going to be in there.
Yep. So Travis had TW Towing. Of course, I had to give Denver something. So Denver has the skincare line.
Cool. So talk to us about this skincare line. How did you create this? Where did it come from? And what's it for?
Well, it is, I have been certified, and like I said, I'm a career student. So learning, working with once I got into the industry, of course, I tried all of the industry staples, what everybody else is using. And I really wasn't satisfied with what they were using. I have a certain level of clarity that I want in my client's skin when they leave. It has to meet my expectations before I will let you leave out of my spa. And so with that being said, I went through line after line after line. These are different product lines, trying to find something. Number one, that my main concern was acne, because I had acne, bad acne, and had always had acne and had struggled with acne since I was about 18 years old.
Oh, okay.
So it was important to me to clear my own skin. So I went through all the different lines, got certified, learned more about ingredients, learned more about skin. When I first started doing facials, I had facials, they were like $40. I was doing them dirt cheap just to get people in so that I could really learn this thing of skin. And I thank all of you guys out there who let me experiment on y'all in the beginning. You guys were martyrs. I'm better now. Come back.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what makes all of this product that you've got here a little different? I heard you talk about maybe some of the chemicals, and what did you realize, hey, I'm realizing about these products is there something that you didn't like about them? And no, you said you were looking for something there. What was it?
Well, what I found with acne is that a lot of the product lines, they tend to dry the skin down. And the more acne you have, the harder they want you to go, the stronger, the more aggressive they want you to go. But that really doesn't work with the skin, because what happens is with the drier that we are making the skin, the more inflammation we cause within the epidermis, and it can in turn make the acne worse and make whatever situation we're dealing with worse. Cool. So we want hydrated, healthy skin. So whereas some of the lines were just a little bit harsh for me, or we're not active enough, or we're not giving results, my actives weren't giving me the results that I wanted. I wanted results-based products. I want to make sure that everything that they put on their skin has a purpose. We don't want to just be, if we want wrinkle-free skin, we need to be using a cleanser that's going to help that. We need a toner that's going to help that, a moisturizer that is aimed at helping us reach our skincare goals. So I wanted results-based skincare that was going to give the environment for healthy skin, hydrated skin, and that's what Denver's Daily Rituals is. And so I did not formulate the line, but I found the line and it's mine.
Gotcha. I understand. So you said acne is kind of what majority of the business models toward right now. I've seen your Instagram, you're on there. I also see a lot of things online about this. How does one differentiate a good person or someone not to go to out there? Because it seems like there may be some people out there.
Well, I will tell you that the proof is in the pudding.
Mm.
So my page, you're going to see a lot of befores and afters. You're going to hear testimonials from clients, and just Google and read the reviews. I'm sure I have over 100 5-star reviews on Google, and Yelp as well. Not as many, but lots on Google, and lots of reviews, lots of testimonials. The proof is going to be in the pudding. If a client, if a practitioner can do what they say, then they should be able to show that. A lot of estheticians, though, are, and this, we all have our niche, right? Okay. I'm acne, I'm corrective care. You have estheticians that are more relaxation based. And if you're looking for relaxation, someone who's going to rub your shoulders and it's more aromatic and it's just relaxing. I give you relaxing, but we're correcting. I'm probably not going to rub your shoulders. I'm not going to rub your shoulders, but I am going to fix your skin.
That's right. Okay. So talk to me about kind of your ideal client. I know it's probably someone that's got acne in their background, possibly, or even just someone looking for a facial, right?
My ideal client is, I really want someone who wants to change something about their skin. If you're just looking for relaxation and you're not really that into it, come to me. You'll get a great facial. But my ideal client is someone who's been to dermatologists, who's been to 2, 3 or more estheticians, who have tried so many other things, and they find when they make it to me, I make them know, well, you finally made it here. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to make a difference. And I'm not going to stop until I fix your skin.
I take it that that's happened before.
That happens a lot.
So I'm a guy, if I'm a guy with acne, can I come?
Of course. Anybody with acne, teenager with acne, an adult with acne, a guy, a girl. I treat a lot of guys who have folliculitis, who get the hair, ingrown hairs in their necks and chin areas from shaving. I treat a lot of that. Any kind of skincare concern. I even do skin treatments on the body. Sometimes people have, they have back issues, and they have, other skincare. Can I hold 1 second? I'm sorry about that. Okay, so sorry about that.
Yeah, so just back to telling me about men, we can come to the shop, we can come to the spa.
Yep, I have beard treatments. We have beard treatments. I have everything for men, women, and children. Okay. Definitely.
Interesting. So does your daughter want to grow up and be like mom?
My daughter she's already like me. She knows how to do extractions. She does extractions on her dad. It's hilarious.
She's been watching mom, huh?
Yeah, she's definitely been watching.
I hear you.
So yeah, and she's more of a makeup girl. So I think she may go into makeup, some type of artistry.
Huh. That's interesting. And how old is she?
She's 7.
And your oldest is?
16.
Oh, is he driving yet?
No, he's not driving. Well, he drove my car over the curbs, and I had to replace 2 tires, if that counts.
Yeah,
but
children
no.
are expensive. That's awesome. Awesome.
But he works. So he has a job, and he has his own company as well. I started him in LLC. He has a vending machine company, T17 Vending, which we started last year. And I gifted him to start the company 2 vending machines, which he owns and operates, but he also has a job, part-time job that he works. So trying to get that same entrepreneurial esteem built up in him as well.
Sure. Someone did a good job with you. For anyone out there that hears this, What do you want them to hear you say to welcome them into the spa?
Just know that I know no strangers. Everybody is friends and family, and I care about your skin. I'm not there just to get your dollar. I give more. I give 180% to every one of my clients that walks through that door. You're not going to leave unless till I'm satisfied. And if I'm satisfied, you're destined to be satisfied.
Okay. And, give me some practical advice for people at home that probably don't know anything about their skin, that, are washing with a bar of soap. Give some people some practical advice to, if you're washing with or if not washing at all,
Okay.
what do you tell them?
I'm going to tell you some things that I find. Number one, wash your face at night. I tell my clients, we wash in the morning and we wash at night. The reason but if I have a client, sometimes you have people, they say, well, I shower at night and I just wash I shower in the morning or whatever, and I really don't wash my face at night. Our skin, there are free radicals. That's what's in the air that we have no control over. We're talking about pollution. We're talking about grease from the chicken you cook for dinner. We're talking about smoke from, your coworkers when you walk through the patio at work and everybody's smoking and everything has attached to your skin throughout the day. Those have to be washed off at night. So it's very important that you wash your face at night. A second one, SPF, SPF, SPF. Your skin needs sun protection factor, no matter who you are, how old you are. And a fun fact that I tell my clients, and a lot of them don't know until I tell them. Actually, I don't think any of them knew until I told them that they weren't born with freckles. No one is born with freckles. You have a predisposition to freckling if it's in your family, but you're not born with them. They're sun damage. And had your parents use SPF as a baby, then you may or may not have had that same freckle pattern that you now have. But I tell my clients, I say, yeah, you weren't born with freckles. They say, yeah. I said, well, go home and go ask your mom, look at your baby pictures, and then you come back and tell me. And they come back and they say, you're right. I wasn't born with freckles. That's sun damage. So we all need SPF every single day, and we need to reapply every 2 hours. So those are like, and please, please, please don't wash your face with bar soap. That's so bad.
It's funny you talk about freckles. I've got a redheaded son, and man, he's just prone to freckling, and it's, it is skin damage, but there's just, when you have that bright white skin,
SPF. He's got to use SPF.
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever heard someone say so frequently. So I appreciate the wisdom.
Every 2 hours. It only has about a 2 hour lifespan. And so you've got to reapply.
Wow. Can someone go back on freckles? Can freckles be kind of
reverse?
Yes.
I don't think that you can remove freckles. You may be able to lighten them with treatment. I'm not sure if you can actually remove them. And a lot of the times that those freckles have been there for, by the time you come to get treatment at 25, they've already been there for 20 years. So what you're dealing with is layer after layer after layer, so many layers of sun damaged skin, like 20 years worth. So it's more difficult. The higher the pigmentation is to the surface of the skin, the more easily it is to be removed. So when we have, say you have a pimple that you busted and you just busted it last week, yeah, we're gonna get that scar out. It's new, it's fresh, it's still in the upper layers of the epidermis. 20-year-old freckles, I'm not sure about that. I'll keep doing research. I'll find out.
Yeah, makes sense. But, I look at my little boy and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all those freckles, and we make the excuse to say, an angel kissed you all over your face, whatever it is, but it's really skin damage. So thank you for the honesty.
Like he's going to be loading up on SPF now. Your son.
Yeah. Well, so am I. So one last question for you. So how do I get in touch with you, and how much does it cost for me just to have you tell me what you can do for me?
Okay, so you can find me at dallasacneclinic.com, and you can also find me on Instagram at Dallas Acne Clinic. And there's also a booking link from my Instagram page. And a new client facial is $145. The same as an acne clearing facial and consultation is $145. I do have special rates once you're in and you started products for acne clients, because they require a more consistent facials. So I do have special rates once they start my acne program, but it's about $145 to come in and get a facial with me. And you get about an hour and a half to 2 hours with me though. We do a thorough intake. I'm going to ask you so many questions. I'm going to tell you things that you didn't even think about. There's so many things that I know just from dealing with so many different types of skin. I can't tell you how many people I've told them, you know, I can see the imprints on their face from the phone. I'm like, you're laying the phone on your face. Or I see the congestion here. I'm like, you wear glasses and you're not cleaning them. And it's simple things, but they're things that I recognize in the skin that may be causing issues. And we talk about all the different things because I can point out things in your life. We talk about, I ask a lot of questions and people don't, you know, like they come in, I say, hey, what you got going on this weekend? And they think I'm just asking what they're doing this weekend. No, I'm asking for treatment purposes. If you're going to be out in the sun, I may do a specific type of treatment. If you're just going to be hanging out at home, I may do a totally different treatment. So everything, I ask a lot of questions and it's all going into learning about not only what's going to be best for treatment for you that day. I'm learning what's going to be best for home treatment for you. If I know that you're a person who likes spending time with self-care, yes, you can handle this 8-step program and you're going to love every minute of it. But if I know that you're a person who has barely washed their face, I'm going to condense it and give you 2 steps so that I know that you're hitting the most main focal points of what is going to keep your skin healthy. So I'm listening to things, we're talking, I'm listening to things about your characteristics, about your own person, so that I can customize not only your in-spa therapy, but also what you're going to do at home.
Cool. I like customization. And
yeah, it's very important.
Let's say somebody's listening to this and they're like, oh, I like this product. I like what she's saying. And they don't necessarily, want the regular facials, but they want some of your product. Can they go online and get this product?
Oh, yes. They can go to denversdailyrituals.com.
Okay.
That's Denver's with an S at the end, denversdailyrituals.com, and order products. But what I prefer is that you reach out to me, send me a text message, call me, send me a DM and say, hey, I'm interested in products. Let me bring you in for a free 15-20-minute consultation where I can talk to you about your skin and recommend what's going to be best for you. Sometimes, a lot of times we don't even know what kind of skin we have. I have clients, they come in and they say, oh, I'm oily. I don't wear moisturizer because I'm so oily. Well, oily skin, dry skin and dehydrated skin are 2 different things. Dry is dry and or you have dry or oily, dehydrated or hydrated. So one is too much oil or not enough oil, and one is not enough water or enough water. So you can have oily skin that's dehydrated. So you still need a moisturizer. And so it takes that level of knowing to be able to help you navigate through to clear skin, to healthy skin. I have to be able to explain some of these things. And then when I tell them, they say, oh, okay, that makes sense. And we talk about the things and make sure that you purchase the right products for your skin. I don't want you to buy something just because a lot of times I ask my clients to say, they tell me, oh, I'm using this, that. Oh, this is the funniest one. I had a client, she goes, my skin is so oily. And I looked over her intake and she had about 5 different essential oils that she was using on her skin. I said, well, you say your skin is oily, right? She says, yes. I said, well, why are you using essential oils on your skin? She goes, well, aren't they good for your skin? I said, well, not if you have oily skin. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. You have aha moments where you're like, oh, well, I should have known that, but you don't know what you don't know. So you come to a professional so a professional can tell you.
Totally. And I think that was what I was looking for is, hey, look, you're offering a free 15-minute, 20-minute, therapy and education session, basically. Exactly. Let me understand what you're really dealing with, because I think of this like, hey, a lot of people probably have like acne or whatever you want to call it, and have just been hey, my arm's broken since I was born. I just have got a broken arm. I don't know any different until they reach out to someone and actually get healed. So
exactly.
yeah, the therapist and the education all comes from advanced aesthetics.
Yes.
So I really appreciate you hanging out with me. This has been fun getting to know you. I like your little business model, and it's cool that I actually found you in the Community Impact magazine here in Richardson.
Yes, that was so nice of them. I love that article. They did a really nice job.
Yeah. So how did they find you?
Actually, I called inquiring about advertising. And when I kind of discussed my business with them, they wanted to make me a feature business in the community for their medical edition.
Cool. Yeah, I thought it was neat. I like the Community Impact magazine, and it's a neat little magazine. So
It's
cool.
very neat. Yeah, it's been very cool. They were very nice over there. Shout out to Community Impact. Hey guys.
Hey guys, is right. Thanks so much for what you do for Richardson. So hey, listen, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Chris. I have definitely enjoyed. This is my first podcast, so this has been real fun. I feel very important now. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you.